Well, hello, friends. I'd like to invite you to a new webinar with Mark Jones, Solar Power, the Nature of the Sun in Astrology. And I have Mark with us today to tell us about what he's going to share with us. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Tony. Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because I'm an astrologer in many ways renowned for pointing beyond the obvious dimensions like sun sign astrology or these kinds of phenomena. And yet here I am in this sort of joyous phase with Astrology University of rediscovering the basics and bringing this sense of illumination and experience to it. And the sun is just so exciting from that point of view, this ultimate center of our solar system, symbolizing very clearly the spiritual sun. And certainly that was Rudhyar's viewpoint. The sun is this kind of spiritual center of the universe. And you can see that in the idea of light, in a sense. You know, light shines, and it's sort of white light, or the mysterious color of light. Then it hits a prism and breaks into all these different forms. And you could say all those different forms are the signs of the zodiac, the different sun signs you could have that express your portion of the original light. So we look at this very, it seems to me, expansive and exciting spiritual idea. We look with a certain degree of humor. I have a section on the 12 Leos of the zodiac. Yeah. The
Right.
sun through the 12 signs.
Yeah.
And so there's this kind of humor in it, but this behind the humor, we then start to define, well, you know, we call like Taurus the sensual Leo, but on another hand, we can see its values. It's all about statement of values. And even the idea of possessions is a statement of values. And so we break it down in this deeper format where we layer each archetype, what its evolution might be. And within that section, my researcher and I have prepared a couple of historical figures to illustrate each sun sign. But, you know, effectively, I'm saying, join this as a beginner, intermediate, even an advanced practitioner might find some really sweet ideas in it, stemming from, in particular, Dane Rudhyar's theosophical idea of the sun as the center, like the spiritual self, and our journey around it being the personal self journeying around the spiritual self. Now, of course, that journey is what forms the constellations, the relationship to the ecliptic, the Earth passing around. And we literally show this in graphic form. My researchers prepared this lovely graphic where you see the Earth looking across the zodiac at the sun. So the Earth is always opposed to the sun. So that's what you're seeing. So when the sun is in Taurus, the Earth is in Scorpio, and you're looking across like that. And then we break down the different associations of that sign. So it's a real top-down and bottom-up presentation. It has this great spiritual idea, I think wonderful idea, that you have effectively a little piece of the sun inside you. You know, this core energy or light. And yet it's a real back to basics look at how, you know, what we even mean by the sun being in a sign. And we literally show you what's occurring and where the Earth is in relationship to the sun on the ecliptic. And realizing that the whole premise of astrology itself, formed on the ecliptic, is this symbol of this journey of the personal self around this vast spiritual self. So I think it's a real lovely blend of back to basics and even humorous astrology alongside real depth.
Yeah, but the depth that you're bringing is so important. You know, so often when we talk about the sun, we're missing that concept. And, you know, when we're talking with beginners in our 4-year program, we often just remind them of the basic fact that, you know, the sun is the center of the solar system.
Yes.
That alone, that kind of statement helps them go, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't think of it that way before. But I love that you're bringing in Rudhyar's ideas about all this as well. I feel like there's so much more. There's so much that we could harvest and do something with. He threw out lots of beautiful concepts that are just all over his various books that were great ideas, just waiting for somebody to pick them up and take them further. So I love that you're doing that. And I have a fantasy that someday we'll have a Rudhyar Renaissance, and people will kind of rediscover his books and start doing that too.
I agree with that, and I think it's certainly happening in my life. I've already begun that renaissance, and it's partly because of his nature that he can explore long philosophical ideas for seemingly a long time, and you don't feel you're necessarily, to be frank, getting that much. And then all of a sudden, there's a burst of like 3 to 5 pages where that could become several separate books. It's so rich. I find myself just contemplating short bursts, short sections. But you know what, Tony? It's been teaching the nodes classes for Astro U and teaching a class on the nodes in a school in Beijing, watching my own teaching, just sitting back at times while students ask questions or while I'm waiting for a translator, where I began to realize all this journeying stuff around the ecliptic, how the symbolism occurred to Rudhyar. Remember, a contemplator of theosophy with an on-off relationship to it. So he wasn't just a card-carrying adherent, but he was interested in their core conception of identity, this kind of auric thing, you know, that we ourselves are a center within our own circle. And then the cosmic picture that repeats that, and the journey of the earth symbolizing the personal self. And it's like literally linking cosmos and psyche, or individual human and divine human. And that's so beautifully elegant. And in a sense, it's all implicit in Rudhyar's entire vision. He just doesn't always spell it out in a way that would be as plain as I'm spelling it out now.
Right.
So for me, it's been such a rich journey to deal with complexity and depth in astrology, and then come back to seeing the elegant beauty in the simplest of astrological forms, the one everybody knows before they even know there's such a thing as a birth chart, you know, that you have a sun sign.
Right.
That
Awesome.
I am, yeah, so delighted to have. I'm delighted to be a Pisces too. You know, I come out as owning my delight of being a Pisces, the sort of secret or private Leo. And, you know, I'd love for everyone who participates to feel that sense of enjoyment, really, about their sun sign.
Beautiful. Well, thanks, Mark. And if you're interested in attending this webinar, you can head over to astrologyuniversity.com/events, where you'll find a link to sign up. If you happen to be watching this interview after the webinar's already been recorded, you can just type in solar power in the search field of any page of the website. It's at the top of any page of the website, or you can search for Mark's name, Mark Jones, and you should be able to find it that way. And as always, if you have any trouble, just email our help team at help@astrologyuniversity.com, and they'll point you in the right direction. Well, thanks for taking some time out today, Mark, to tell us about this webinar, and I can't wait.
My pleasure. Lovely to see you as always. Take care, everyone.
All right, bye for now.